Hey everybody, I just wanted to do sort of a dual purpose video today, and that is I wanted to just do a thank you for the 2,000 subscribers. I kind of went over in the last couple of weeks and I sort of let it just settle just because my numbers go up and down at times, and just wanted to kind of be clear of 2,000 for a little bit before I actually kind of did a bit of a thank you video. Yeah, I think if you look under my About section, I believe it says I started this in 2012. And really, the YouTube has really been kind of a great thing for me with the hobby. Although I interact with people on Facebook and we have the Musty Wargamers Facebook page, which I enjoy as sort of something to complement this, YouTube is something that really chronicled my hobby towards the beginning. And so I really do feel, when I say the beginning, is even though I started early on in like the late 80s doing some Rogue Trader stuff, I really find that I didn't really take painting seriously and wargaming too seriously as a hobby or for fun until around 2012. And so, yeah, like this has been something where I've been able to learn alongside other people and from other people on YouTube, and just I'd like to think that I've progressed over the 8 years, and my videos, I've left every single one up since the very beginning, and so you can see where I've caked on paint on my early Eldar miniatures and, like, you know, dipped them in Army Painter, you know, coated them in the Army Painter dip in the beginning and all that stuff. But it's really been a really fun time along the way. I really do this channel primarily for the interaction with people in the community. And so as much as I really do enjoy being able to inspire or inform or entertain folks that are among my subscribership that don't interact on the channel, glad that if people get something out of that. I do it mostly to interact and have fun. You know, that's really the main thing at this point. And I still like to learn, to be honest. I still have room to learn on lots of things. And so I still like to learn new techniques and things. And so for those of you that are kind of pretty active in the community and commenting, I do appreciate that, and thanks for that. And then also, I would say, for those of you that have been around a long time and maybe haven't commented in a long time, got busy, just don't really interact with, if you're still around, would love to see a comment of somebody that's been from the early days. Just, you know, I would really appreciate that, seeing a familiar face once in a while from the beginning, because I do know that people drop in and drop out of YouTube and hobbying, and there's lots of reasons why people disappear. But yeah, if you're still around, would love to see you say hello at one point in the comments. And so thanks everybody for the 2,000 subscribers. That is great. I never would have thought, to be quite honest, I know everybody says this, but I never really would have thought that I would be here 8 years, 9 years, whatever it's been, you know, since 2012 later, still doing this. My activity has waxed and waned at times, but I've been still kind of doing it for the most part. I don't think I've ever went more than a week or two in missing putting a video up, and not because I feel like I need to, but just because I do enjoy it. So thanks again. That's pretty much all I wanted to say about that. And I also wanted to do a response in this video to Justin Borges. He did a video, and I'll put a link in the description, but he did a video where he was going to pull out kind of the old rule books that he called it my favorite games I've never played. Now, in some of those, he admitted I've played maybe some once or twice or something like that. I actually thought that was interesting. And although these aren't all the books in my collection that could be included of things that I have on my shelf, to be honest, I had less than I thought, which in some ways I'm kind of happy about that. But I have this pile, which are I'm going to actually describe as my favorite games I've never played, although I'll qualify that with this one. And then I have this pile, which are the games that I love that I don't play enough of. And so I'll talk about that in a second. You know, I play certain games, as you know if you watch the channel, like I would say Musket and Tomahawks, Star Wars Armada, and Saga in particular are games that I've gotten quite a bit of games in on, and I wouldn't include them in this list because they're sort of some of my core games that I play. Now, this pile here, Sharp's Practice, I've talked about it a lot on the channel, and I've made reference to it a lot, but I've probably, only when I first got it, maybe played 2 or 3 games with a friend where we both got into it. And this pile is in order of priority. And so when you see from the top to the bottom, these are the ones that this is the order that I want to play these in. And this one is coming up very soon. I'm actually looking at doing some solo gaming with it during this time of the COVID. I've been painting up all of my French Indian War stuff and bulking out my forces primarily to play this game. Despite the fact that Musk and Tomahawks has just come out, it's a smaller model count game. I already have pretty much the miniatures that I can use to play it. I do have the miniatures to be able to play Sharp Practice. I have played it, but there was a time when I didn't have enough on both sides. And so now that I'm really, for the most part, I have enough on both sides to play for both French and English. And so this is a huge priority for me, and you'll be seeing this very soon on the channel. So that's why I included it in the Never Played, because it's only really been a couple of times in the whole time of having it. Now, out of the rule sets that I've never played, that I want to, they're like my favorite games that I never played, my next priority is Twilight. And I have painted one side of a forest. This is a fantasy miniature game. It's a very unique fantasy miniature game. It's had a little bit of a resurgence recently on YouTube. Viv over at Rubbish In, Rubbish Out, he's putting up a series right now on it. It has been, I have to do my second little skirmish force to be able to do the first scenario that first came out when the game was originally introduced. That was my goal. It's the one with the engineer where you have to protect the engineer, like Fubarni have to protect the engineer, and the Devanu are trying to eat the engineer, it seems like. And so this is going to be, I'm going to be painting up the other side very soon. And I will be experimenting and playing Twilight because it's something that's never really fell off my radar. Now, I've prioritized Twilight of these ones that I've never played, but another one that's just been really right alongside side of Twilight that I have miniatures for, that I'm planning on painting up and I've always intended on doing, is AD&D Battle System. So there will be a painting project shortly, hopefully shortly after the Twilight one, to actually get forces going. I'm hoping that these ones, the painting won't take as long because I'm using 15 mil for these to paint some forces up. And I'm really looking forward to trying this. I've done videos on this. I've had this book originally. This would be, in my possession, the oldest miniature game book I have that I purchased brand new that I didn't get rid of over the years. Like I purchased this one in the early 90s when it came out. Primarily because I was playing D&D at the time, and it was about D&D. I wasn't even doing a lot of miniature gaming, but I just ended up purchasing it. And for whatever reason, even after I got rid of miniature books that I'd had over the years, D&D books that I had over the years that I wish I never got rid of, I for some reason always kept this one among books and things, and I never got rid of it. And so I have a lot of reasons why I want to actually play this again. Some nostalgic, and a lot of it is nostalgic. Some of it is due to the game itself and having looked into it. So yeah, so that is the AD&D Battle System. Next, I don't have miniatures for this, and we've talked about this a lot on the Musty Wargamer show, and I know there are a number of folks that in the YouTube community and the community of people that I talk to that want to play this. Just off the top of my head, I know both Justin, who this video is a response to, as well as Dan Booman, and there's a number of people that want to play this. And so I expect that someday I will, because it looks so cool. Reminds me a lot of an updated Mordheim with a slightly different universe and some different mechanics, significantly different combat mechanics, enough to make you quite interested. But the premise of campaigning and just some of it reminds me of that, and it seems very worthwhile to try. So that's Burrows and Badgers. Now, I don't know when I'll get to this one, and some of that will be very clear in a moment when I talk about my other pile. But I always, I do intend to actually give some 3rd edition Warhammer Fantasy a go. And even if it's just initially with some solo campaigns, to just try the rules out and have like a table set aside in my hobby room where I have some old Hammer miniatures, you know, basically working through the 3rd edition rules, which are a bit clunkier and more detailed, but I wanted to immerse myself in them a bit at one point, and I do intend to do that at one point. So so I've never played that edition before. Those are my miniatures favorite games that I never played in response to Justin's video. Now I kind of expanded this to the games I love that I don't play enough of on my shelf. Now, if I had the Infinity rulebook, because I've been just using the free one online, and I do intend to get the new edition of the rules that are coming out, I believe, this summer. I would have Infinity in here. Now, these aren't in order of priority as much. I'll kind of allude to which ones I want to play more or not just by talking about them. But Infinity, I am playing right now. I'm starting to play again, and it definitely would be one of these. I played 2nd edition, I think, I2, I think, Infinity, in when that was out, and then had a huge gap of time where I didn't. And now getting back into it again, and so I include that in this. Now, I have been playing Warhammer Fantasy 6th edition, mainly been playing, you know, just with the warband sort of rules, and that's so I could use just less model count. But we're kind of creeping up there in our models, and you know, I think when the COVID stuff is done, when we're able to actually do things socially again, I have a number of friends that that like this edition, and you know, we like, and I expect that we'll be playing this a lot in the future. And so that has been fun. Dragon Rampant is something that I do pick up occasionally with friends. It's just an easy game to pick up, and I really do quite enjoy it. And I do see myself playing this more in the future. See no reason not to. I've always enjoyed the games. Another one that, you know, I didn't play Mordheim when it was out. It's something that I only gotten into recently, in recent years. And so I do want to play more of this. I played a couple of games of this, and while I enjoyed it, I believe that my opponent didn't really enjoy it as much. And I think part of it is that I interpret the experience of the game as you really need to, number one, not invest in any one model too much. Like, even though you might put a lot of points or really like a particular miniature, like in a character, and want them to do well, this game is deadly, as I yeah, I found that you can get put down pretty easily, and I realize that you can come back, like, you know, at the end of the game, you know, there's opportunities to heal and things like that, but I don't think you can get overly invested in the miniatures. You really need to play this as a campaign and enjoy who kind of comes out of the ashes and becomes a great leader, and, you know, that you don't expect. And I think you have to have a mindset with Mordheim, in my experience, in looking at it. And I don't think we really gave it a fair shot. It almost felt like every game we played, we started over because we were like learning the rules, and we didn't really get to experience it fully. And so I do see myself as wanting to play this more in the future, play more time. So another game that I really enjoyed when I did play it, and I'd played it a little bit, but not nearly enough, is In Her Majesty's Name. Now, I just found it a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot of different rule mechanics in this. This is by Craig Cartmel, Charles Merton. There are other games that are like In the Emperor's Name that this was spawned off of, that was based more on like a 40K kind of universe. And there are other games that have come after this that use the rule mechanics. I do know that when I played this game in the confines of this book with the scenarios, I really enjoyed the rule mechanic. We didn't have as much success within the Emperor's Name when playing it with our old Hammer miniatures, but when playing these rules, I did really enjoy it. And so I had some, I don't know if you guys remember, but I had some Prussian miniatures from Victoria Miniatures that I used as sort of pseudo-Imperial Guard, and then I also made up my own kind of robotic guy in a hat that looks like the logo on my channel, and I had a lot of fun with it. I actually thought it was great. if I did these in order, this would be towards the top. And I've had a few games in the last couple of years of Epic Armageddon, and this has always been fun. I think our gaming group, we always talk about going back to it when we do kind of plan on getting together. And so it is something that comes up quite a bit. I think all of us are happy that we've recently invested in time and energy and money into Epic Armies again. And we really enjoyed this. And so I see myself playing this again in the future for sure. So that's my two piles, my games that I love that I've never played, and the games that, or my favorite games I've never played, and the games that I love that I don't play enough of. Okay guys, thanks again for the 2,000 subs, and hope everybody's doing well, stay safe, and talk to you later.